The battleground called America sees one skirmish after another, but who is fighting for faith, family, and flag? Charles Benninghoff, and here he is with today's action plan to defeat the forces of globalism.
This is Charles Benninghoff, and I'm founder of Pray for Us, Pray for the United States, which is an incorporated Christian church located in Nevada. We profess that the United States Constitution is a divinely inspired document most worthy of protection. As well, I'm a Vietnam-era combat veteran who has sworn to defend the United States Constitution from all threats, foreign and domestic, even at the cost of my own life, which I will gladly forfeit in her defense. In today's video, we're bringing you Volume 4 of 10 of our series on the truth about the Clinton crime family and why a special prosecutor is desperately needed to save our grand republic. It's all about crazy conspiracy theories, right? Well, it's not really. It's not a theory. It's not a theory. In fact, that's why so many people surrounding Bill and Hillary Clinton have died in mysterious and horrific fashion. Think about your own circle of influence, your friends, your family, your neighbors, people you went to school with, people that you used to work with, all of the people you know, and think to yourself, how many of them, let's say in the last 5 years, have been shot, stabbed, run over by a train, fallen off a building, and otherwise met very, very heinous death? For most people, the number's 0. But for the Clintons, it's in the dozens, if not well over 100. That's why I have started doing this series of videos calling on Congress to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate these deaths. It's also why I gave you the preamble when I started this video. My purpose is defending the Constitution at any cost to me. The subject came up again last year when 3 people suddenly died after the DNC emails were leaked to WikiLeaks, including the leaker himself, Seth, who was brutally assassinated by gunshot in Washington, D.C. Today, however, I'm going to go back in time. I'm going to talk about a Chinese businessman who was convicted of funneling illegal campaign contributions to Bill Clinton's 1996 presidential election more than 20 years ago. His name was Johnny Chung, and he may be alive yet, we just don't know. His story is truly amazing. You can make a movie out of this and people would think it's fiction, but it's the truth. You'll hear some of that story in Johnny's own words today, so listen in. Please consider mousing over the video screen right now or tap it on your mobile device. Then click the YouTube icon in the upper right corner, which is an eye, a small eye. Click that icon to find a link to my website where you can sign up for my newsletters. My daily action newsletters contain facts you'll never hear on mainstream media, and they're not so terribly long, but they're longer than I wish to spend here on YouTube videos. And they are necessary to know to survive in this surreal world being forced down our throats by globalist Democrats and the nation's core of prostitutes. When you get that done, don't worry, just come back here. We'll be waiting for you. I'll get to the Johnny Chung story in just a moment, but first, I want to give you a little more background on the Clinton body count. What is the Clinton body count? Somebody wanted to know. Well, sometimes it's referred to also as the Clinton death list. Do a search for the term Clinton body count or Clinton death list in Google, and you'll find a treasure trove of factual information that the mainstream media refuses to talk about. Those prostitutes only want to talk about false Russia conspiracies. Dozens and dozens of people with ties to Bill and Hillary Clinton end up dead, and usually not dead from natural causes. Talk radio giant Rush Limbaugh has chronicled the Clinton crime family for decades, and fortunately for Rush, he has a big enough profile. That's not a joke or a pun. I didn't mean to call him fat. But anyway, his profile is big enough that the Clintons would never be able to bump him off and get away with it. As well, I'm pretty sure he's protected. DNC staffers, fundraisers, British spies, and everyday attorneys and citizens, however, are not so lucky. Rush actually talked about the Clinton body count again last year when a series of deaths happened right after the DNC emails were leaked to WikiLeaks. People have been talking about the Clinton body count at least since 1992. So take a listen. Listen up.
And it came up on shows like Nightline. I mean, Ted Koppel routinely had discussions, roundtable discussions about it. And one of the things, I was on one of them. And one of the things I said, who knows what happened here? But let me ask you a question. I said, Ted, how many people do you know in your life have been murdered? Ted, how many people do you know in your life that have died under suspicious circumstance? And of course, the answer is zilch, zero, nada, none, very few. Ask the Clintons that question. And it's a significant number.
There was a significant number of dead bodies piled up around the Clintons, like I said yesterday in the video we did, which was number 3, piled up on the Clinton crime family's front doorstep. And in 1992, the people were even asking exactly what was going on back then. Democrats and Republicans have been asking this question now for decades. Attorney Sean Lucas, who I talked about in Volume 3 of this series, was found dead on his bathroom floor a couple of days after he served the DNC with a lawsuit. And the lawsuit had to do with Hillary Clinton's very fully documented theft of the presidential candidacy from Bernie Sanders. He was suing the DNC because Debbie Wasserman Schultz, as well as other insiders, worked with Clinton in order to steal that nomination. Lucas was only 38 years old, but he was found dead on his bathroom floor, and his Democrat friends were all freaked out. Well, you work for the Clintons or you work against the Clintons, a lot of chance you're going to end up dead. Everyone, however, Democrat and Republican alike, know that something is very fishy about all these people surrounding the Clintons who cross them out or know inside information about them, and they're always ending up dead. So Johnny Chung is a name you might not remember, but let's talk about him now. Johnny Chung was convicted in the federal court system of illegally funneling money from the communist Chinese government to Bill Clinton and Al Gore's 1996 reelection campaign. Chung was worried that the Clintons were going to bump him off, but he testified in federal court case against the campaign in exchange for a more lenient sentence. So what Chung did was he gave this money illegally from the communist government to Clinton, and then he got caught, and then he agreed with the federal prosecutors that he would testify against Clinton, and what he got in return was 2 things. First, he got a lighter sentence than what normally would have been applied to him. And secondly, he got put into the witness protection program run by the federal government. This testimony occurred more than 20 years ago. And even back then, people knew that if you crossed the Clintons, you're liable to have a piano dropped on your head as you're walking down the street, and then have the cops labeled it suicide. Yeah, you got a piano dropping on you, and the cops call it suicide. So Johnny Chung thought his goose was cooked. Even years after this happened, Chung was worried that he would be killed. So on the advice of his friends and his attorney at the time, he secretly recorded a confession as sort of an insurance policy, and that occurred in the year 2000. Let's take a look at some of that chilling footage, which was finally released last year in the Daily Mail. Chung was under the protection of the Federal Witness Protection Program, and listen to what happened.
Someone in the FBI or the Justice Department decides to call off the team protecting you, to sign them off your case, immediately and permanently, again to their surprise and to their disappointment. Okay? How did you feel when that happened, and what did you do about that?
Well, that was on Saturday morning. I found out all the FBI was called off, and I called you, Bob. I called my pastor in our church, and then we all met, and you guys decided to protect me and my family from that point.
The order to call off Chung's Federal Witness Protection Detail could only have come from someone high up in the executive branch. The assistant U.S. attorney on the case told Chung to call 911 if he thought his life was in danger. Records show that Chung's federal sentencing judge and his probation officer could not believe that his federal witness protection detail had been pulled, so he was left defenseless. So Chung had to go into hiding. He went into hiding after his probation period was up. He went back to China, we believe, and WorldNet Daily at WND.com reports that it is believed that Chung is still alive somewhere hidden inside communist China. If that's true, then he's one of the lucky ones to cross the Clintons and live to tell about it. And it took the Chinese Communist Army to protect him. But at what price? Chung was an American citizen, but he had to go into hiding in communist China to avoid being added to the Clinton body count. This is why we need a special prosecutor appointed to finally investigate the many suspicious deaths surrounding Crooked Hillary and Slick Willie and their world's biggest wiretap of the congressional Democrat delegation. The federal government is wasting your tax dollars right now with a special prosecutor investigating Donald Trump when there's no crime alleged to have taken place. Nobody said he's done anything. Well, a large number of people in the world are saying that the Clinton crime family has been in charge of an organized crime path, killing dozens of people. I'll say that again. There is a special prosecutor now investigating Donald Trump, even though there has been no crime taken place. And many of the government officials have confirmed that there's no crime at all. There's not even an allegation of a crime that took place involving the Trump campaign. So what is the purpose of that investigation? I believe it's to obfuscate and to hide what's gone on with the Clinton crime family, to diffuse the attention that should be brought against the Clinton crime family and instead focus it on a false allegation against our president. You call a prosecutor, by the way, in to gather evidence for a crime that's taken place, not to look for a crime just because the swamp is jealous that it lost an election. Yet we have actual dead bodies, dozens of them, surrounding the Clintons dating back decades, and no one has ever called for a special prosecutor. Till now. Till us. Now we're calling for that special prosecutor. This is just one more analysis how the Clinton crime family holds the Washington, D.C. power structure in a noose so tight it can't even wiggle. They know everything that went on due to the world's greatest wiretap, and that was a crime in itself of the century. Bribes, blackmail, and bullets. These are the working tools of the Clinton crime family. How do you help? How do you get this Clinton crime family put to the test? Here's how you can help. Click the link now appearing at the top of our screen to subscribe to our newsletter. Do it for Seth Rich, Sean Lucas, and dozens of other victims who have died under mysterious and violent circumstances surrounding the Clinton crime family. These victims and dozens more cry out, and they deserve justice, justice, justice. Stay tuned, because Bob Mallory will have instructions on the next screen to let you know how to subscribe to our newsletter if that eye has not appeared for you. This is Charles Benninghoff signing off and wishing you freedom, fulfillment, and God's many blessings.
If you're on our action page on our website, use the form next to the video screen to select a program and send personal letters to Congress. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, click the icon appearing now to find the link to our action page, or check the video's description to find the link. Speak out today.